Penguin Random House presents 10 Judgments That Changed India by Zia Mody. Read by Beneifer J. Mirza. Acknowledgements. Writing this book would not have been possible without the involvement of a few people. Shobha De was the pioneer behind the idea of writing a book of this nature, which seeks to bridge the gap between life and the law. Mudita Chauhan Mobai, Madhavi Purohit, Shehnaz Siganporia, and the editorial team of Penguin Books India have all regularly provided constructive suggestions to make this book engaging for a wider spectrum of readers. Chintan Chandrachur's exhaustive legal research and keen drafting skills have taken the book from conception to reality. To him, I owe an immeasurable thank you. Jeet Shroff and Rishika Harish have also assiduously assisted in the publication of this book, for which I'm truly grateful. Forward. The judiciary, at one time, was considered and projected to be the weakest branch of the state, because it possessed neither power of the purse nor power of the sword. That myth has been demolished, and the best evidence of it is the set of 10 judgments analyzed and discussed in this book. Many of the judgments that have been discussed were recognized, even at the time of their pronouncement, as path-breaking and having a profound impact on our nation. To find them being discussed several years later is indeed a testament to their continuing and pervasive relevance. The Constitution, enacted in 1950, has been the cornerstone of India's democracy. After its enactment, it has undergone several amendments. The Supreme Court is the ultimate interpreter of the Constitution, and, by its creative and innovative interpretation, has been the protector of our constitutional rights and fundamental freedoms. The Supreme Court judgment in case of Nanda Bharti versus State of Kerala, AIR 1973 SC 1461, is unique in its impact. It evolved the doctrine of the basic structure of the Constitution and ruled that even a constitutional amendment could be invalidated if it impaired the essential features, the basic structure of the Constitution. The book highlights instances of the manner in which the Supreme Court has performed its role and captures some of the more significant moments in its long and sometimes troubled history. The judgments described in this book continue to have a real and resounding impact on society as a whole. These decisions are to be appreciated not only as precedents, but also as having laid down the law on issues of paramount importance, law that is binding on all courts and authorities in the country. In a maturing republic such as ours, the common man must be made aware of and given an understanding of the workings of the law and the judicial process, which very often is seen as the exclusive domain of the legal profession. This book is a step in that direction. Rather than focusing just on the judgments of the court, the author has presented them in context, describing the surrounding cultural and social circumstances and the subsequent reactions of the public and the state to each case, coupled with a commendable legal analysis in language that is not legalese, but reader-friendly. Zia Mody has made a captivating analysis which, I'm sure, will be useful not just for members of the legal profession, but also for parliamentarians, law teachers, students, and members of the public who are keen to know about our powerful Supreme Court and the impact of its judgment. Soli J. Sorabji, former Attorney General of India. Prologue. To a large and obvious extent, the title of this book shapes the prologue and the contents that follow. I believe that if there is one thing that most Indians still remain deeply proud of and have abiding faith in, it is their judiciary. One of the subliminal expectations of the common man is that justice will be delivered by the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court of India. To the intelligentsia, this is the forum in which both political and executive battles will be calibrated and decided. Many of us, especially practicing professionals, take much pride in seeing how the Constitution of India has been infused with life, time after time, by a deft, adept, practical and inspired judiciary. We take for granted, as a democracy, what many citizens in other countries over the world yearn for: the freedom of speech, access to justice, the right to vote, and the right to practice one's religion. In this context, every young student of the law clearly comes to recognize both the independence and the importance of the Indian judiciary in our democratic polity. Selecting 10 judgments, those that can be termed landmark cases, involved difficult decisions. The difficulty lay in deciding which judgments not to select, simply because, as is evident when one starts looking at the subject, the seminal cases and landmark jurisprudence laid down by the highest court of the land have affected the basic liberties of millions of citizens throughout India. Many a time we try to bring in other seminal judgments as part of the selection. For instance, ADM Jabalpur versus Shivkant Shukla, AIR 1976, SC 1207, has been discussed in the chapter on Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, AIR 1978, SC 597, Maneka Gandhi, Chapter 2. S.P. Gupta versus President of India, AIR 1982, SC 149, has been discussed in the chapter analyzing Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association versus Union of India, AIR 1994, SC 268, Chapter 8. And Minerva Mills versus Union of India, AIR 1980, SC 1789, along with IR Coelho versus State of Tamil Nadu, AIR 2007, SC 861, have both been analysed in the chapter discussing Kesav Nanda Bharti versus State of Kerala, AIR 1973, SC 1461, Chapter 1. As can be expected, to qualify as landmark decisions, most of these seminal judgments needed to have a distinct constitutional angle. It is interesting to see that from 1947 to 2011, in a short span of 64 years, our constitution has been amended fairly extensively and interpreted fairly expansively. It is probably somewhat removed from what our founding fathers would have anticipated, but, by and large, something they would have been proud of, with the Supreme Court preserving its basic structure. Each of the 10 judgments decided by the Supreme Court demonstrates the central role that the court plays in democratic governance in India. Some of these judgments have arisen as a result of both the pre- and post-emergency Indira Gandhi regime. During this period, the court was in the throes of a constitutional conflict, torn between deciding on principles and sometimes, unfortunately, bowing to political exigencies. However, the guiding light that one hopes will continue is the ultimate thread of jurisprudence squarely in favor of a strong democracy armed with the unshakable stamp, the freedom of speech, and the right to life with the other attendant basic constitutional safeguards. The emergency probably taught the Supreme Court of India many hard lessons, including, hopefully, some lessons it will never repeat. It also laid bare to the intelligentsia and the common man the fact that respite came from the gates of the courts. Women dominate as the central figures in 4 of the 10 selected judgments, seen in the cases of Maneka Gandhi, Mohammed Ahmed Khan versus Shah Bano Begam, AIR 1985, SC 945, Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan, AIR 1997, SC 3011, and Aruna Ramachandra Shanbag versus Union of India, 2011, 1 Scale 673. It not only reflects the tragedy of the Indian woman, but also the emergence of jurisprudence which seeks to set it right. Unfortunately, what remains is the practical reality of a long road yet to be travelled to unwind institutional and cultural discrimination against women. Many of these cases have had an international impact and have been cited in different countries around the world, particularly in South Asia. The case of Olga Tellis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation, AIR 1986 SC 180. Dealing with the right.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?